Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your Matchday Ticket Live, the pre-game show with me, your host Martin, in association with our friends at Best Burger Stone Market. Find them at the Queen's Head. Consistently high quality burgers at great prices as quickly as possible. Obviously, we are awaiting a government announcement, but at the moment, they have a deal running for November. 6 people can dine in at Best Burger for just £10 per person for the whole of November. That includes 6 burgers of your choice as listed on menu, 6 portions of skin on fries, 6 onion rings, a portion of 6 mozzarella sticks, a portion of 6 nibbles. That is a portion of 6 onion rings, by the way. Booking essential. So today's opponents is Crewe. Home game again. Obviously, Tuesday night we played Gillingham, 1-1-0. A nice 1-0 victory in the end with Teddy Bishop grabbing that goal. I can see some comments already lighting up the chat box. I love to see comments. Get those comments in. Get the chat flowing. You can feed the questions through me. You can chat to yourselves, obviously, in the chat box. But let's make this a real place where Town fans can discuss all things Town, as you would in the coffee shops and the pubs and places before the game normally. Now, joining me this afternoon, I have a writer, a blogger, a business owner, fan favourite, of course, that is Amy Downs. Amy, welcome in. How you doing?
I was thinking he can't be talking about me there. Fan favourite.
You are a fan favourite. We love you, and I know that the fans love you as well. How you feeling, sir? You feeling good about today's game?
Yeah, I am actually. I saw that. I think that's probably the first time in a while that I've seen the team and not been a little bit nervous. I mean, I am, because it's us. We'll mess it up, I'm sure. But I don't know. I feel like it's a strong team. It's like that back four. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and they played Tuesday night and looked fairly comfortable. We'll get into. Hello, dog. Hello, mate. Yeah, hello. We'll get into. You don't get this on ITV1, do you? What's going on? You don't get Mark Pugach getting hounded by the dog. Right. We'll get into the team news in a minute. Let's just jump through into the comment section. Legacy Bates is already annoyed no Dobber on the bench. I'm with him on that, and I'll explain why soon. Callie, welcome in, Callie. Judge of the number 10. Who would have thought that? Andrew, welcome in, Andrew. I'm glad you're here. Afternoon, guys, hoping for a Town win. Sid Driver, well, Lambert's back. And Callie says the real fans love Amy. I told you the real fans do love Amy. On Facebook,
Josh. Callie, thank you.
On Facebook, Josh was going for a 2-1 win with Edwards and Wolfenden with the goals. And Craig says he doesn't like Judge being back in the side. We have got another fan joining us, but I've had a message to come through saying his son has spilt something everywhere, so he'll be running ever so late. And if you know Mr. Rob Davies, he doesn't need an excuse to be late. But let's get into today's lineup while we wait for Rob. Let's have that. Today's Ipswich Town team news is brought to you in association with Best Burger Stone Market. Consistently high quality burgers at great prices as quickly as possible. Grab the best burger at the back of the Queen's Head Stone Market. Call Stone Market 01449 680 058 to book a table. And there is your lineup for today's game against Crewe. I had them as a 4-2-3-1. That's how they played Tuesday. Amy, you picked out those centre halves. Obviously, let's start with that back four. I wasn't sure if Stephen Ward could play 3 games in a week, but he's going to. So it's Chambers, McGuinness, Wolfenden, and Ward. What are your thoughts about that back four?
I think do you reckon that's our strongest?
Absolutely.
I would say so. I think that's. I mean, obviously, maybe we'd quite like to see KVY in there, but then I'm not entirely sure where he'd go. But I have really enjoyed seeing Ward play so far this season. So happy to see him back in there, and I just feel confident in them. Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if Lambert's philosophy is about playing out from the back and building a foundation from there to maybe pop it into Andre or pop it into Bish and then get players around Hawkins, I think McGuinness and Wolfenden have to be your 1 and 2 centre halves, because no disrespect to Toto and no disrespect to James Wilson, you're not going to get composure from them on the ball. You're going to get no nonsense, clear your lines, and just look after it defensively. But we want to play a progressive style, I think, at the moment, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely, we do. I think we've learned, not if we do manage to get that first goal, not to sit on it. And every time I see, even if I'm not seeing the game and I manage to watch what other people are saying, every time I see people talking about the game, it's passing out from the back. It's passing out from the back, isn't it? That's what we've been wanting to do ever since the dark days of Mick McCarthy. So it's nice to see. I think it feels like that team is definitely set up for that, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. It now is. I think obviously he was trying to run with this whole "your shirt, keep it" mantra, which I wasn't on board with from the start, because like Virgil van Dijk at Liverpool, when he's fit, he ain't going to sit on the sidelines for somebody else. Jurgen Klopp's going to bring him straight back in, and I felt Wolfenden particularly was our best centre half, and when he's fit, he plays. A bit like Flynn Downs. If Flynn Downs was suddenly fit right now, there'd be no ifs or buts with me. He'd be in that team. Whereas obviously previous weeks, Lambert's kind of run with the whole, well, it's their shirt to lose, which is good on a Sunday morning level, Amy, but not on a pro level. They're all getting paid to play, and you pay your own, your own top stars. But we're there now.
But I think it takes us away from the steps, the old days of having team favourites as well. I mean, Luke Chambers is always going to be the first man on the team sheet, I would have thought, along with Wolfie if he's fit. But
for many, absolutely,
it moves away from the favourites that we used to have, who were on every week, no matter what, because of their consistency. And that stopped other people getting into the side. Whereas we're seeing people like, I know he's been dropped today, but people like Lancaster and Hawkins, he's played quite a few games now, actually, hasn't he? But he's managed to break into the side. And I tell you what is interesting, having not been much of a fan of him last year, Guion Edwards is like, God, I think I would probably go Chambers, Wolfie, and then Guion Edwards. That's they would be like where I'd shape the rest of the team around.
Yeah, I think it's amazing what a few goals can do to a player's confidence, but also fans' confidence in the player. And for the first couple of weeks of the season, he certainly did carry us. I will just welcome in. I can see he's now waiting in the blue VIP room. He looks stain-free. Let's bring in season ticket holder, fan of over 30 years, North Stander, Mr. Robbie D. Robbie D, welcome into the live stream. How you doing?
Good afternoon.
How are
you? Yes, I am stain-free.
How is the spillage and aisle free?
Cleaned up as best as a man with limited resources could do. It was, I'm not sure, it was some kind of smoothie thing. Something that doesn't go well with a white sheet. It was on the bed, so yeah.
I'm really glad you clarified, because anybody who came into this show like 2 minutes ago would be really concerned about you two talking about stains, I think.
I think I've been stains massive. I think I'd like to confirm I've been stains free since I was a child.
Brilliant. We're just talking about the team today. Rob, have you seen the team today?
I have, correct. Everything was fine until about 10 minutes ago, so it's all good.
You weren't on time for once, were you?
I was sitting here ready. I thought this is going too well, and it was. I've obviously seen the team. I don't know. I think you've got the situation where Judge is obviously going to play behind Hawkins. There again, I mean, you've also got Bishop. Where's Bishop going to go in there? They're both going to be in that same zone, aren't they? I can't see. I know how you had it on the screen with Bishop deeper next to Zell, but I see that Bishop will be further forward in the same sort of area as Judge. Excuse me. So I think we're going to try and run the game from that little number 10 area with two players overrunning in there. It's obviously Judge's best position, but there again, does he have a position? When he plays left or right, he ends up in the middle or left or right, doesn't he? So he roams, and I think he'll be doing the same today. Yeah. I do wonder about Sears. I mean, we all know he does that job down the wing, and he's been doing it for years, back to McCarthy and all that. But I think if I was him, I think I'd want to be playing down the middle. And we've not exactly got a mass of resources there. I'd want to be playing up front with Hawkins if I was him. In a two, I mean.
Yeah. I can't work out, Rob, why he hasn't really gone with the traditional two. I know he wants this philosophy, or a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, whichever one you want to throw in the air and see what one lands first. But Sears next to Hawkins makes more sense to me, and allow Judge to sit out wide. Let's just focus on Judge, actually, first and foremost, because I don't know about you two, and I'd like you both to comment. I'm running out of patience with Alan Judge. I want some big performances, and I want them yesterday. Dobra, again, misses out on the 18-man squad because Alan Judge has come back into it. Alan Judge, if he wasn't Alan Judge, if he was Billy Smith from the 21-year-old Billy Smith or Keenan Bennett, would he be straight back in that lineup for you? Because he hasn't played well.
I thought to myself, look, whenever you think about the good games, the games where he's contributed assists, maybe you've scored a goal, or I don't want to say run the game, but have one of his better games. Do you know what I mean? I think it's always been against teams you'd expect us to beat us at home. I think it was a game last year, Accrington at home. I think he got a couple of goals, and Burton at home, I think, back-to-back weeks or very close to each other. If you look at games earlier this season, he was good against Wigan, who are obviously weak, Bristol Rovers, who we comfortably beat. You'd sort of say that maybe Crewe at home is the kind of game where you'd expect him to make the difference. But would you put him in against Doncaster, Sunderland, Lincoln? I don't know. Can he only do it against those average to poor teams?
Well, this is it. But his squad status, Amy, isn't that of he's only going to do it against poor teams. Yeah. He is positioned as a top guy in this squad based off being, he's a fantastic career at championship level. Do you want to start seeing those performances from Alan Judge now, or are you still a little bit more patient with him than me?
Question for you: if we didn't have Judge in the team, who would you have taking free kicks? Freddie Sears?
Well, I don't think we're in a position where we can have a player start because he's going to maybe do a free kick.
No, agreed. I think he brings a lot more to the team than that. But for me, that's one of the main reasons, because he is the best at the set pieces. He's, I think,
that ain't saying much
corners and stuff. No, I know. Well, exactly.
That's
how many opportunities do we have? I'm trying to think what game it was when Freddie Sears missed a really easy free kick, didn't he, recently? And I just have no faith in Freddie taking set pieces.
I don't think we've got any. I think we've been poor from set pieces for a while. Yeah. To be honest with you, I think even Dazell's corner. I know he's taking the corners at this point, isn't he? He's very much overhit. Last season we had Garbett, who was one in sort of 5 or 10, landing it in the right zone. I think we've been poor with set pieces for a long time. Even going back perhaps as far as Grant Ledbetter, whose corners are obviously lambasted on a weekly basis. We've been poor with set pieces for 10 odd years, probably, to be honest. And the worst thing is we've had a lot of good players in there. You think about, Judge is one. You've had previously McGoldrick, plenty of players like technician players who are good with dead balls, and we've never been good with them, have we? How many free kicks is one for you, Martin? How many free kicks have we scored in the last 10 years direct?
I'm going to average a guess. If the over and under, I'm going to go for under 5.
I have no idea. I have no idea, but I think somebody should find that out. I bet you it's not would be one of the lowest in the country.
I've never wanted football to follow the NFL style of set pieces.
Thank God for
that. So badly that I do about Darren Curry, because Darren Curry, you could literally bring him on just for a free kick and ask him to do that, and he's going to score. Even at 95, he would score a free kick. You've got the ability.
How do you think Alan Judge would get on in the NFL?
Well, he's not doing too great at the moment in soccer for me, but there we go.
Soccer, Jesus. Look, by the way, I found at work, I've got this. Don't know if you can see what it says on it.
Yeah.
The bullshit
okay, right.
So I'm keeping it close by. The fact that you said soccer, that's worth a ping.
Oh my God! Right,
I feel like I'm in a hotel lobby or something.
Ross Yates, Stephen Hunt was great from dead balls from McCarthy's side. Adam says we need to make the most of McGuinness in set pieces. He looks like he's got some goals in him. John Fleming, Judge has done nothing. Joshua, I personally feel for Dobra, and Tyrell thinks Andre is better at set pieces, as does Ryan Cartwright and Callie. I just think with Alan Judge, he's come in, and I want to see some big performances because
I just don't think you're going to get him. I don't think you'll.
Then he shouldn't be there.
I'm going as far as to say I don't think you'll see big performance, not the level you're talking about, from him in an Ipswich shirt ever.
Yeah.
Because and this is it. This is now the issue, and maybe this is more time for the podcast, because you've got Lancaster and Dobra, two young players who are ascending. If they're not playing, their ability is never going to be reached to the fullest. So if you're not going to get those performances, which you're suggesting we're not, Rob, it's even more of a question mark for me, because.
But then I think actually in some ways you could say the same thing for Sears, if I'm honest with you, because in that position I'm still not really convinced how much he contributes.
Well,
you could play Lancaster there. He was lost in that number 10 role against Gillingham, I thought. I would put Lancaster as a wide player. You've also got Bennett's there, who I don't think has started a game yet. So I mean, there you go. That comment's right on the screen. That's not even a link.
Nathan Sears is at the starter.
I can see why you say that. I think over the years he's been good for us, but I just don't know how much you get from him in that position. If it's a two, him and Hawkins, no doubt. But on that wing, in that left wing, right wing position, he's got a competition from Grion Edwards. He's got a competition from Lancaster, Bennett. And those are only the fit ones, He's played every game, I think, almost. I would say that his position is one of the ones that's probably up for grabs, really, because I don't think he's outstanding out wide. He certainly works for the team and does all that stuff. I mean, no one's going to accuse him of not doing that. But
he's in trouble, though, isn't he?
Because we're trying to get promoted out of the league. You need more from a attacking winger than that.
Yeah, and the more we see Keenan Bennett, the more Sears is in trouble, isn't he? Because every time you see Keenan Bennett, it might be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, but he always looks like he could make something happen. Bit of pace, bit of trickery. He's more of a natural fit than Freddie out wide on the left, isn't he? So we're now starting to see some real competition out wide on the Ipswich Town left. We've not seen that since, Alan Mahan, probably.
Christ.
I think as well, I was just about to say that Caden's on the bench. I don't know whether he was during the week. I don't remember.
No, he wasn't. No, it's his first game back from quarantine.
So there's more competition up front and more options. If Lambert does screw his head on and start playing two up front, then Caden's back in there, isn't he? And so there's how weird to be in this position to have gone from Jackson and Norwood every single game to, my God, how many strikers have we got to choose from? We could choose between wingers and number 10s and whatever we want to do. Like, we haven't had this for a while, and Judge is part of that, and he is great in that number 10 role. Like, okay, maybe great might be slightly exaggerating it on other people's standards, but by our standards, he's competent, he's consistent, I like him there. And to go back to your question, sorry, I started waffling about Judge there. To go back to your question, absolutely, Sears has got competition, but that's what we want. Yeah. So that goes back to what you were saying about Lambert and like earning your shirt, doesn't it? This is the thing. Actually, he's got to be at his best all the time. Otherwise, there are a lot of kids waiting to step into his shoes now, aren't there? But for me, it's consistency and experience that he brings. And I was saying to my friends before we came on, the thing with Sears for me is if he hadn't been injured the relegation season, that would have been like his best season for us so far. And obviously this is his first season back properly. Yeah. So I feel like this is his chance to prove his worth. Like, actually, he could be a really decent League One player. Maybe he's just getting going. I don't know.
Rob?
Richard, I did correct myself when I said great.
I know, I agree on a couple of things. I think if you are going to get these missing performances from Judge, he's going to be in that number 10. That's where they're going to come from. If they come, it will come from there. I also agree that Sears, there was a little spell in that season, the relegation season. I think we had Bristol Rovers, Millwall at home, where everything was flying in for him, wasn't it? About a couple of weeks. And he thought, bloody hell, we've got a chance of staying up. And it was because he was playing down the middle, and he was playing probably some of his best football, maybe even of his career in that month. Then he got injured, as you said, I think at Norwich. And really, we never looked like we were going to have a chance of staying up after that because we lacked a goal scorer. And he's not got back to his best, but he was playing down the middle. I think if you play him down the middle, he's a good striker at this level who score goals. He's clearly played at level above. I think he's a cracking player in League One if you're playing down the middle, but I think out wide he doesn't contribute enough. And therefore he becomes an average player in this league. Yeah.
Well, and this is what we need to start seeing, some bit of consistency. And I get Amy's point. Over the course of his career, there have been great performances. Obviously, we've just not quite maybe seen them in the blue and white of Ipswich. Ollie Hawkins. Now, for me, as I always say, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I like my strikers to score goals. This week, there's been a lot of talk about Ollie Hawkins. People have compared him to Bobby Firmino at Liverpool in the role he played. Hit that bell, son. It wasn't me that said it. But, being compared... He does a lot of work.
Hold on a minute. When you said this I haven't seen this, by the way. So this is the first I knew. I always thought to myself, where was he going to compare him to? And then that was the one you used. That was the analogy. Well, I'm glad I was sitting down for that. I think I don't know. I would say that Firmino probably got better players around him than Hawkins.
Well, that's what. Yeah,
I think if I was playing in a front three with Salah and Mane, I'd probably be on 20 gols.
Don't lie. I've seen you play.
That's a better analogy than the Hawkins Firmino one.
It wasn't mine.
You're promoting it. My
hands are clean in this, I swear to God.
No, I would say I think Lambert does. I think one of the problems with us, probably you've seen it in the Doncaster Lincoln games. I mean, the Doncaster one got out of control very quickly, didn't it? It was like I was expecting to see the Ron Burgundy emotion gif, him sitting back, saying that escalated quickly. It was like that. It was 2-1, all of a sudden it was 4-1. But I think he does need a plan B, and that system changes has to be that. And
Callie, Salah,
there you go.
That's killed me. Salah and Mane are very poor versions of Edwards and Lancaster.
I'd love to see the stats to prove that. No, honestly, I think he does need a plan B, and having Hawkins at the moment fits in plan A and B, because he's going to play down the middle on his own. I'm not sure Jackson can do that. I don't think Sears can do that. Norwood could do that, but probably is going to be out until
back training.
TBC. I know, but how's he getting there driving? I don't know. I just think that at the moment Hawkins is the only one that plays in both systems up front.
You're like getting me in trouble, don't you? Oh, yes, he is, and he does a lot of grunt work, a lot of stuff that you don't see. A space eater, as I call him, which gets Sears and Edwards and other players around him. However, with Jackson back fit, Amy, again, competition is starting to heat up. He's got to start adding goals, hasn't he? Otherwise, Jackson is our top goal scorer from last year. He's back. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for me, there's no argument anyway. I'm a big fan of Jackson, but of course. I think it's like you say, it's the same with Judge and it's the same with Sears. How long do we give them? I think it's worth remembering we're nearly in November, but actually this season, that's only, 6 weeks in? So we're not very far into the season, are we? So we've got to give the team time to gel and settle, and they've not had a full pre-season like we would normally have done at this point. So I do think, for me, it's patience, but I think that is probably because I'm being very biased. I liked Judge before he even started playing for us, and Sears is a bit of
so did everyone else.
Exactly.
He's a good player, then.
That's I think that I maybe give him a bit more space. Do you know what I mean? Before criticising him, because I had so much respect for him before he came, and the same for Sears because of how he played in that relegation season. I'm probably giving him a bit more leniency than I maybe do towards other players. So I appreciate that that's my own bias on that, but I also think that we are still very early on in the season, so it's a bit harsh to drop people for not scoring when they are contributing in other ways.
Okay.
I was just going to say, obviously this keep the shirt thing and everything, right?
Yeah.
Well, we saw the two centre backs kept the shirt. It was going well. Back-to-back defeats, both of them out. I was surprised by that. I'm not sure if Wilson was fully fit. I'm not sure if there was anything in that. I heard somebody might be a niggle. Anyway, both of them out. That was quite ruthless. I just think that once he's got Jackson fit, at the moment he's relied on Hawkins, and Hawkins is his man because for a while there was no choice. But if he's not scoring. Let's say we start keeping clean sheets, but we get a couple of 0-0s, maybe today, maybe on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, we've kept clean sheets, we've tied it up at the back, and then we can't score goals. He's going to, instead of looking at the defence for leaking goals, hence when he changed it, he's going to look up front and think we're not scoring enough, and that's where Jackson comes in. And I think if he doesn't start scoring goals, it's not so much if he doesn't score goals, but if we don't score goals as a team, then I think probably he's the first one to get the axe, and then maybe you see Jackson down the middle on his own, which I think is not good, but it might happen.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think obviously back to the example someone gave on the internet regarding Liverpool. I think the idea is obviously Edwards, Judge and Sears aren't the Liverpool players. So eventually, this is my point of view now, Hawkins has to start contributing some goals because those players aren't consistently going to get 15, 20 goals. So the striker, Cruncher says, you won't get more than 6 out of Hawkins. Now, what for you two would look like a good season for Ollie Hawkins in terms of your goal return? For me, a number 2 striker should always be looking between 7 to 12. I want him to be hitting that sort of heights. Where do you two what would you two call a good season basically for Ollie?
You got to remember, for the first probably quarter of the season, he's going to be number 1 striker, maybe even more. How far? I know you said we've only had 6 weeks, but first quarter of the season, he's going to be number 1 striker, and he's not going to have scored a goal. Then is he more likely to score goals as a number 2, and maybe even then when Norwood comes back, maybe even number 3 choice? I think if you get 5 to 10 goals out of him, probably we've not done too bad. But the flip side to that is that if he's the only striker scoring goals, because Jackson comes back, maybe doesn't score. If Norwood comes back, maybe doesn't score. If he's the only goal scorer and he's getting 5 to 10 goals, we're in big trouble. We'll be finishing like 12th or something.
And if we aren't expecting Hawkins to get, your 12, 14 goals as a number one striker, then surely Caden Jackson's got to be. Isn't he the more likely to get your 14 goals? And how the hell are we going to get out of this league if we haven't got somebody scoring?
I think it's all well and good relying on Bishop or Edwards. But let's be honest, I mean, Edwards has never scored goals in number, not even at Peterborough, and certainly not for us before. And Bishop, I mean, he got one goal at Bournemouth in like 2004 or whatever it was. And, since then, he scored nothing in 5 years. So, I mean, it's great that he's scoring goals. In both cases, it's great he's scoring goals. But I don't know, if we're going to rely on just them two for the whole season.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, we had a viewer called Sharon who said you need something like 80 goals to get out of this division. So if you start putting it around the team at 80 goals, yeah, exactly. And your number two striker's got 4. That leaves a lot of goals to be made up by somebody else who I can't see it in the squad. But there we go. So we are now coming up to obviously nearly 3 o'clock. Let's have some bold predictions. This part is part of the show where I like to get your thoughts. So score prediction. Who's going to score? Be bold. Be brave. It's Halloween. So no, I haven't got anything there. Just give me your bold predictions.
6-4. Come on, get Rooser in the goals. Let's put another cross in the top corner. There's no way he meant that, was there? That's a great ball in the box, isn't it?
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I was there for it.
Yeah, I was there for it as well. I remember it well. Carnage. I'd say Dean Ashton probably made his name in that game, but our defending was suspect, wasn't it?
Dave has the idea of the bold predictions, by the way. Hawkins hat-trick. You don't get more bold than that. That's brave as well as bold.
That's bold, that is.
Right, I'll top that. Sears hat-trick.
That's definitely top.
Sears hat-trick and a 4th goal from Judge. There you are. That's my bold prediction for you.
Okay, right. Love it. Robbie, now you follow that up.
I'm going 3-1.
What's Clacton doing? Through 2-0.
Everything's possible. You know what? I'm going to say, if we can get our corners right, I'm going McGuinness to get one because he looks good in the air. Although I'm not sure about his Jack Grealish socks, but we'll talk about that another day. He looks a good player, really good player, and he looks really good in the air. Sort of reminds me of sort of Tommy Smith kind of. Yeah, he looks every time a corner comes in, if it's decent, he looks like he's going to be somewhere around the end of it. So I'm going for him to get one. I'm going Judge to get one and Bishop.
Cool, that's bold. Judge to get one. Nearly as bold as Jay Chidwick here saying 5-2 holy header in the 95th minute. I think he's captured the essence of bold and brave really well. Callie 3-0 Town, Hawkins hat-trick. Emerson, welcome in Emerson. Nice to see you. Expecting an open game of football, 3-1 Town. Ryan 3-2 Town. Terry, Judge hat-trick. Love it, Terry. Callie, highly to score from a goal kick. I mean, that is possible. I mean, that
is the weather that bad in Ipswich? I mean, Holy's goal kicks are suspect in great conditions. So
yes,
Did Sunderland win at Gillingham? Did they?
They did 2-0. They did too. We've got Craig. Sorry, asking his name. He's been drinking. Steve 3-0. Hawkins will score. Boring 1-1 from Craig. Have we got a beverage on the go today, boys and girls?
Yeah, I was planning to, but I'm currently on straight water, so I will sort that out during the first half.
And what have you got?
37 minutes normally go down for a pint in the first half.
I went to the shops yesterday and stocked myself up on some good old Suffolk Aspals because we've got to be done on a game day, hasn't it?
Beautiful.
Just for the purposes of the show, I presume other ciders are available, right?
Obviously. Right, my prediction: 3-0, clean sheet. McGuinness, Wolfenden, and we're going to get a Freddie Sears free kick. Freddie Sears is going to get a free kick, and he's actually going to curl it into the top bins, and we're going to go, that's what he's been trying to do. Perfect. Callie says... Go on.
I was just going to say, I feel like the top of the league, top 7, looks strong in this league right now. They're starting to take shape. Sunderland winning, Portsmouth winning, Peterborough winning, Hull winning. Who else is there? Up. All of them are going to keep winning, I think, and there could be... You remember last season it was 9 or 10 teams, of which we finished 10th out of 9. Yeah. I worry that we're the 7th best of that group, and we could be drifting behind them if we don't win games like this at home.
Well, yeah, it is one of these games where you look down the fixture list and you've got to tick it off as a win. I know Darren McAnthony, owner of Peterborough, your second favourite club, Rob, has listed Crewe as a dark horse for League One playoff contention, but you've still got to beat them, even more so if they're a top 6 dark horse, because you've got to start beating teams that you may play in the playoffs if you end up in the playoffs. And at the moment, I'm not confident if we finish anywhere between 3rd and 6th, because we're a bit of
we can't be the top teams, and you have to get to the final. You've got to win at least one of the games. Then you can get blagged the final on penalties if it really came to it. But you've got to win at least one leg, haven't you?
Yeah. You have. Right, let's break it off there. We're back at half time. See you all at half time. With love, with care. Take care, and come on, you Blues.